and we should be heading into the game. There we are. Once again, if you're just tuning in, welcome. My name is Dragondrop, bringing you this game 1 between Empire and 5Jungz, German stack here around Kuro. Not entirely German, of course, but it was rumored to be a fully German stack before, but of course that was never more than just a rumor. I have a lot of FPS lag here. I hope that's maybe try and I can maybe try and fix that by closing down some stuff, but yeah. If not, we're just going to have to deal with it. But yeah, once again, if you're just tuning in, it's the ESL One York Qualifiers. I'm joined by the one account on stats, and after this game, Capitalist will take over, of course, in Isama. They're still busy with the Navi game for Team 1, 2, 3, so I'm hopping in here on short notice. Doesn't look like any early aggression is going to come out from either team, so let's take a quick look at the lineups. Empire YOLO Warrior here on the Tusk in the offlane. We've got the Apathy on the Winter Wyvern General standing in here on the Storm Spirit. We've got Silent on the 1 position Phantom Lancer, and that leaves Aloha Dance playing Grand Magus. The other side of the river, we've got 5Jungz with Jerax playing the Lion. We've got Matumma Man on the 1 position Gyrocopter, Feta that mid-Dragon Knight, one of his signature heroes, Kuro, on that Witch Doctor. That leaves Mind Control playing the Clockwork in the offlane. No crazy lanes coming out. We might see Winter Wyvern actually move top to try and help out the Tusk a little bit. That's Rubik should be alright up against the Clockwork. Just be able to harass him out a little bit, and just apart from that, just concede the fact that Clockwork is going to get something in his offlane. So the one way to trade with that is either to just go full aggro with the Winter Wyvern down there and harass him out even further, or just try to put on some pressure on your own offlane. And yeah, Tusk is actually trying to do a similar thing here, but he only got one of these melee creeps. But yeah, that still means that this creep wave will be making its way down. Okay, General mid here up against Vader, of course. Dragon Knight, not the mid here to go for if you want to win your lane. Okay, Empire actually not putting that much emphasis on Tusk compared to other teams, so nice little bit of information. Yeah, we'll see whether it works out in this game. They definitely have a lot to dodge with the Snowball. They have that aggressive potential, of course, just because they have the Storm Spirit. Once he gets rolling, with the help of the Tusk, they should be able to get some easy pickoffs on these squishy supports like Witch Doctor, like the Lion. Okay. Just trying to check whether everything is alright on stream. Looks like we should be good. Yep. Back to my point in mid lane. Of course, don't pick a Dragon Knight to win the lane necessarily. Storm Spirit being arranged here, having much easier harassment, of course. He will be able to win his lane quite handily and get his farm. Beta is not really going to be able to much about that, but what he will be able to do is get at least some CS. He's gonna get his levels because he's tanky. Of course, Brief Fire with a couple of secures him a couple of last hits here and there at least. And Dragon Knight is not the kind of hero that you win mid with. He's the kind of hero that's you put mid, you get your levels, and then once the Storm Spirit rotates out, you take the tower with your ultimate. It's a little bit more passive when it comes to rotations. It doesn't really bother him that he's behind in that sense. Especially with Rune Control going his way, he'll be able to sustain himself quite handily. Spam out the Brief Fire, and if he catches Storm Spirit in that, then he'll need to rely more than you would maybe want to on a static remnant to actually get the last hits. Base damage reduction, but of course he has plenty of right-click attacks. Take a quick look at the offlanes here. We've got the Tusk, not really having the best time. Cracking level 2, just obviously up against the Strine lane. Especially this Witch Doctor here. Gotta be careful about the cask. I mean, if it bounces the range creep and back, then you'll be taking a lot of harassment here with 60 base damage on that support, and we even have the Lion stacking and pulling through, so they'll deny a lot of much needed experience for the Tusk. Meanwhile, Mind Control in the bottom lane here. He's already level 2, working as level 3. An extra creep wave down here on this tower. He should be able to reach that now, and Only Silent here in the lower dance. He's doing his part in the jungle, of course, as well. Very passive early stage, and not a whole lot else that you could expect, really, because all of these heroes, they need their levels to actually start doing anything useful. Tusk, of course, wants to have level 2 at least, to be able to snowball ice shots properly. 3+1+2 to get a kill, but him being denied that is probably the single most important reason. There's not any aggression coming out from Team Empire for now. 5Jungz, of course, they should be fine, just farming up here, just making sure that the supports get their level 6s, especially Line here for a big burst. Make sure that Fata not being ganked up in his middle lane, so have a TP ready. That kind of standard stuff. Yeah, Clockwork's getting his levels, so everything's really going fine. Comes to 5Jungz, but of course, same goes for Empire. Silent, he's farming. Curious to see what build he goes for. I mean, there's a couple of Phantom Lancer builds possible. Actually, top lane Warrior might be in trouble. 5, bro. All alone here though. It's not the easiest setups done here, or not the longest setups done with just a single cask without bounces. So wouldn't have gotten them enough time to get Jarex in for the kill. To try and get the kill. Meanwhile, mid. Oh, Fata drop down to the bottom here, gets a nice little brief fire off, but that might actually be enough to keep him safe with the teleport command. Nice double stun from Jarex here. Can it turn us around? Doesn't look like it. It looked for it though. The apathy now hacks up. Fata with the follow-up stun. Kuro's here as well with the cast bounce, so that's the first blood. And yeah, that's what I was talking about here. The rotation from the supports as they went on Fata here. Yeah, just the strength of brief fire and the damage reduction here. 25% as there was level 2 when that started. And on all 3 heroes, they just didn't have the power. Break through that extra armor from the Dragon Blood as well. Then really nice stun from the high ground. Yeah, with the commitment there as well from both supports. I mean, they didn't need to be up top here. Husk was forced out before that, so he now has level 2, but look at the Clockwork. He's sitting at level 5. And he's even leading more, so Empire not putting emphasis on that. That might actually bite them in the ass at some point once the Clockwork starts hooking around, setting up for Fata to come in, setting up for the balls to get the follow-up stuns. I mean, one thing if you have Empire running into you and then be able to counter initiate like that, it's another thing entirely to initiate yourself. I was contemplating Silence item build here. It looks like, yeah, so far so standard here with the Aquila. Might be looking into treads or drums, any sort of stat item to tide him over. But I've also seen Phantom Lancers even go for Yash. And yeah, Yasha Boots of Travel kind of build, or if you want to go straight for the field plane. Game I wouldn't hate either, really. If they want to start fighting, then they should be going for the quick diffuse play. With the Tusk being as far behind as it is, I'm not quite sure that's actually the best way to go. Because you had a point with Nightcopter, Matuma, he's level 6 himself, he has a TP roll too, and that's the kind of hero that can turn a fight around on a whim, just by being able to tilt the pot in, drop the call down. Level 1 Dragon Tail, longest reliable hard stun in the game. Absolutely. Paying dividends there, it's only level 1. Goes up to 3.25 seconds at max level, and now both Matumba and Jarax are smoked up in the apathy. Almost running into him, but looks like they want to go for general here. There's the initial stun. Call-on comes out, the hacks fallout. That's an easy pickup from the Storm Sword, and they even complete the teleport here. Double stun from Jarax, and the apathy got on the wrong end of the brief fire. The snowball will dodge a little bit of damage, but of course it's not an escape tool like that. Make it a triple. Oh, actually, what? The general? He survived. Wow. Okay. All things before they happened there, but yeah, he was dead to rights. It was like at like 5 health points or so, not much more. Barely able to zip out in time. I mean, level 1 hacks online, 2.5 seconds as well. Much more stronger than the hacks from like the Shadow Shaman, which is half that.
Radiant's middle tower is under
not quite enough to actually finish him off. But yeah, they got 2 constellation kills there, so you shouldn't be too sad about that. Not to mention tower damage that they've been able to put out. I mean, just a couple of right clicks here from the Dragon Knight in his ultimate form is enough to just drop down the tower. I think one right click is 120 damage over time. Not entirely sure on the map again. It's been so long since I've actually thought about that, but it is quite sizable. Next time Fata has his dragon form, that tower should fall. It's like 5Jungz, they want to make their advantage count here. They have their level 6s and they want to use them. And with the cooldown up and ready again, mind control with the hook shot, so they're looking for silence here. Must have doppelganger available though. It's not the easiest kill, but there's the hook shot follow up, there's the hex. Follow up disables here, stun, and that's a dead Phantom Lancer. Nice little chain disable there with the hook shot, then the cogs push back towards the line, providing you with attacks into the stun. Not a whole lot that you can do at Phantom Lancer there, unless you see it coming and already have doppelganger out. Yeah, 5Jungz, complete control of this game. It's not like they just get support pickoffs here and there. They just got the carry here. They've been putting on pressure on Stonespirit here. Sure, they didn't kill him, but it forced him out of lane a while. Now, she's seeing some of these creeps here. It looks like it's not gonna be happy about that. It was the one big jump start, the kick start here for a Stonespirit. At least it was supposed to be the plan. Stonespirit can sort of work like a Shadow Fiend in that regard. Hang on, top lane, Yola Warrior. He's gonna be stunned up and follow-up cast bounces, not there, gets a snowball off, but he should still be dead here. Snowball to a creep though, but not gonna be enough. Yeah, caught out with rotation here. Fata opting to help out top before actually finishing the push down the middle. And yeah, that teleport will complete, but it's only a low dance here. He has to be careful not to get too close, or else that ranged Dragon Tail would have gotten him there too.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, mid. Oh, Matoma Man actually falling very low. He will fall to general here. Hookshot barely off the mark, but there is a haste rune on the clockwork. Not a whole lot of mana left in Stonespirit. But mind control. Chance that went for the max rocket build, so not having that rocket push. Snowball up top. Jarrett's with the stun. With stun from the snowball and the big burst from the Fate Bolt. 10 damage on a squishy lion.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That leaves a mark, and yeah, Empire starting to fight back.
Attack.
Looking at the fight recap, of course, a little bit in their favor as the game is paused. So, is it a chance to take a look at the net worth and the engagement up top, or with engagement in mid, I should say. General able to pick up that kill for himself, get himself up to level 9 and back to the top of the net worth chart. Veta right behind him though. Starting to get his tanky items up and running, has a power treads, value bracer. Don't know that he wants to turn this into drums. So here's a decision that the Dragon Knight has to make at this point, whether you go for the Shadow Blade or straight into BKB. And this game, I would almost say BKB, unless you're really looking for more initiation, because you already have the clockwork, you already have the potential to just siege down towers with the Dragon Knight, so you don't necessarily have to have that Shadow Blades kind of scouting / initiation potential. So I'd actually much rather like to see the BKB here, just be able to continue the snowball, just keep the Dragon Knight in front. Have the BKB at the ready if they go on you, and then turn to fight. If they don't fight you, well, just take the towers, right? That's what a Dragon Knight does. Okay. Let's take a quick look at lines here, as we still have some time. Actually, okay, Empire just confirmed. They're ready to go again, but yeah, let's take a look at items anyway. Winter Wyvern, of course, and that's support position. Not doing too much. Into speed, magic stick heal. He's just getting his level 6 up on his top lane. Kuro already has his level 7, but at Urn of Shadows with the double gauntlets. Tusk, of course, in that off lane. Not the best start, but he's actually managed to hit his level 6 now. They get the tower denied, so that fell a little bit too low to the creep wave, and not something that you usually see up against a Dragon Knight. Usually you pick a Dragon Knight to be able to claim these towers for your own. It's, of course, tier 1's not really giving too much gold. So denies, of course, don't hurt as much. But still, whatever counts, right? Now smoke up in mid, they're looking for the Dragonite. There's a snowball on top of him. And yeah, they're looking to burst him down. Should be able to unless the stun hits more than that. But now the turnaround, actually, they don't actually have enough burst to bring him down completely. Now, a lot of teleports. There's a hook shot onto a load and blown up by the finger of Death and Silent. Needs a doppelganger up and about. But the Rocket's actually skilled up by Matumba Man, still following him. But
Dire's top tower
no creep with them. They just content with that turnaround kill on the Rubik, and that's what I was talking about. That Dragonite really hard to bring down if you're out of burst. And now they're gonna go for it again, but this is not on the journal here. Another snowball. The apathy is here too, from the high ground, and therefore doing a decent amount of damage. But Kuro is actually all alone here. Silent comes in. There's the call down finally, as Kuro not quite there just yet. Wind's Curse actually committed to finally bring him down, but meantime Jerax mind control here, controlling up everyone on the side of the Empire. But now Silent's still pretty healthy, joining into the fight with the snowball as well from the Tusk. Now they do get the Gyrocopter down. Mind control Jerax, they're both very low, and it's a 5-man wipe. They only lose the Winter Wyvern here, and oh man, that escalated quickly. It's all I can say. 2,000, almost 3,000 gold change here, considering the gained and lost net worth, and that's a terrible place to fight. Even with the cooldown, it didn't actually hit too many. Even though it looked like kind of an overcommittal on the Witch Doctor, just dropping the Winter's Curse on him, not really catching anyone. That secondary snowball and Silent coming back in, still enough health to actually keep fighting. Turn the fight around for Empire there. Yeah. Now, that's the point. That's the kind of team fight that you need if you just want to forget about the woes of the laning phase, right? We can take a look at the graphs, and laning phase exceptionally well for 5Jungz. They were up to about a 1,500 gold lead, so decent enough. But just that one team fight pushed Empire to that same kind of spot as in terms of gold as well as experience. Now look at Storm Spirit here. See him start looking for the Bloodstone. He has the energy booster on the courier as well. Actually not too far off. Got the Winter Wyvern having the Tranquil Boots finished. He got the Rubik there looking for shadows of his own. Silence. Oh yeah, okay, he dropped the stuff
Radiant's
too.
bottom tower is under attack.
I was thinking for a second where his items went, but he dropped on the ground to reach faster, so he went for the Aquila jumps. Pretty standard ability, probably looking for the Fusel Blade next. And yeah, even a Tusk got his Arcane Boots, goes level 7, so it's alright.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Oh, Kuro tried to ward, but he got caught out. Oh well. It's been nice knowing you. But unfortunately that was a futile quest in this instant. Top lane though might not be that. Jerax and Matumba Man, they're both ready to try and fight. We get some extra help here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just waiting for the blink in, but there's more help coming for Empire here. 2 teleports come out. There's a snowball here dodging one of the cooldown stacks, and YOLO, that Tusk actually blows up after the Lion, and now Matumba Man being focused down by General up top here. Painter trying to find a target here. Doesn't have his ultimate form. Doesn't have too much amount of actually has plenty to play with, but just can't reach anyone. Stuns a creep. Now mind control in the back here. Catches too, but going to be enough. Silence still up and about. The apathy in a little bit of a rough spot, but General still around, gets bounced by the cast and takes a lot of damage from Danford, but ultimately not enough. That should bring him critical range, and they get a 3-for-2 trade. Painter comes back in with the blink stun. He's all alone though. Never mind, Jerax didn't actually see him come back in there. They blow up the Storm Spirit. That's kind of salvaged the fight for them. Of course, the fight recap not exactly useful there. Whoa, the fight's not even done yet. They want revenge, they want Fader. Do they have enough damage here? They need to slow him down more, but they can't. Stick jobs come out silent here. Joining the pilot doesn't have another Lance here to throw at. He will do so. Once again, that tanky Dragonite with the smoke. Nice little play there from Jerax, just to make sure that these last couple of illusions aren't enough to bring down this tanky half dragon. This one on Matumba Man. I keep committing here. Jerax finds a lower dance, he's all alone. That's a call down. That should be a dead Rubik here. that on Rocket Barrage, so...
Death to all betrayers.
Yeah. Empire looking good in team fights, but the cleanup crew for 5Jungz, they're not entirely ineffective here. 7% increase in win expectancy, yeah. Especially with that kind of fast blink dagger, it's something I considered. But of course it's a very valid option on a Dragon Knights just to have that instant stun, instant blink stun. Especially if you're talking about Dragon Tail, we had that, we talked about that before. The strongest single target non-ultimate stun there is. Or one of the strongest. I mean, unless you count like the Morphling Adaptive Strike. Strength Morphling is like 4.25 seconds or something ridiculous, but it's not quite instant unless you're right next to the target. It's a projectile stun, of course. But yeah, 5Jungz, even though they're kind of losing in team fights, they're not entirely behind because they are able to get these pickoffs here, get these turnarounds. Here on the course here, Dragon Knight, of course, at the top. Really hard to deal with for Empire right now, actually, but the big problem is, we saw it in the last fight, the kiting is just too hard. If he doesn't have his ultimate form, he doesn't have that ranged Dragon Tail. Then if he doesn't have his blink at the ready, already used it once, well, it's a hard time of actually finding someone between the Task Snowball, between Phantom Lance, a Doppelganger, as well as the Stormsword just slipping on and about. Yeah. Taking a look at the other items on the side of 5Jungz, we've got the Lion working on that Dagger, so heading straight for that. Stopping for anything else along the way. That'll put a lot of what's the word? That'll mean that Kuro will have to buy a lot of the wards, so the Aghanim Scepter for the Witch Doctor is not really on the table anytime soon. But yeah, the biggest story is this Gyrocopter. What's he going for? He has the face boots, so very effective item. You're looking for max damage from a flag cannon, a little bit better than the power threads in that regard. Of course, power threads just being able to thread switch is a little bit more effective if you're spamming his spells. Just being able to run down heroes like Swords with Wipe and Rubik.
Under attack.
Very nice little addition, and then kind of standard build happens to dominate a little bit of lifesteal. A bit of ancient stacking for themselves. They have the creep here. Not sure if he has a creep. If you have to tell him, you should definitely use it for something. Either just getting a wolf to bolster your damage, or get a creep to stack ancients with. Still have a triple stack though. Mind control just finishing that up there. So they have that economy to work with. Teleport coming in here onto the middle creep. They want to fight him. And Tumberman caught out. Snowball, there's the Winter's Curse as well. He'll be blown up immediately. Jack's got that as well. Fata coming in from the side. And Glimmer Cape not enough to save the task. Jarek's also very low. Not low enough, but low enough for Splinter Blast to pick him off. Silent though. Caught in the midst of that. Now Fata. he's just too strong. He's too tanky. Low at hands. He stole the Death Ward here. Was in no position to get a good channel off, and there 4 for 2 trade here. Stormsword the only one to survive. Man, the fight recap shows, yeah, that's a big win for 5Jungz. Real Bloodstone timing here, 80 minutes. He's had a good game, and actually after 10 charges already as well, so it's kind of the one calming factor if you're Empire after the team fight right now. It's like, okay, Silent, he still has some good farms. He has his Diffusal Blade finish, so he didn't actually lose all that much gold in that fight. Still have a Stormsword who has a good Bloodstone timing, who already filled it up with 2 extra charges, so they're still in control of this game, say, even though the gold and experience graphs back to 0. Just have to be careful about their engagements. They cannot ignore this Dragon Knight. Because if Fate comes in with his Dragon form, he'll be able to throw a Dragon Tail after Dragon Tail. Is now up to level 4. They have that 3.25 seconds on a 9-second cooldown. That is very little downtime if you think about it. Sitting at 4,600 gold as well. Wonder what it'll go for, maybe just straight AC or straight up BKB? You can buy it right now if he wants to. Find out soon. Oh, it's a Sanj, okay. Looking for a Halberd? Halberd would be silly though. I mean, Phantom Lance is just going to be able to doppelganger that off. So more likely either Sanj and Yasha, but then he would have bought that straight up as well. Or maybe if you go for the halberd, it's more for the evasion. For the evasion and the stats and for the disarm. Or maybe you want to just have the disarm on the tusk or storms with instead. Might as well be Sanj and Yasha, or maybe a Silver Edge who wants to go back for that. A little bit of extra damage, just have the ability to disable these passives here, like Phantom Lance, Phantom Rush, and it should also disable Juxtapose. Mistaken, and Snowsword Overload is also actually a big part of a general's damage here. So if you're able to disable that with a Silver Edge, go for it.
Dire's top tower
Alright,
is
more
under
items
attack.
inside from 5Jungz. We've got the Glimmer Cape on the Witch Doctor here, Kuro. Been able to pick that up after the last fight. We do have the Blink Online, of course, completed, and Clockwork actually going for a solo
Dire's top
crest, so
tower is under attack.
more support oriented here. Also we see Clockwork just go for the Blade Man into Axe or something like that. Be all out selfish.
Radiant's bottom tower
But
is
in this
under
game they
attack.
have the Dragon Knight to be the frontline tanker, so Clockwork doesn't really need to be that. Of course he tanks up himself a little bit with the Soul Crest, but primarily you pick that up. Just make sure that either the Dragon Knights or maybe the Gyrocopter if he's in a
Dire's
little bit of a
top
rough
tower
spot.
is under attack.
Got it.
It's just even harder to deal with. Harder to bring down. And so if you consider the Team Empire's lineup, none of these heroes really wants to build an MKB. Silent could, but Phantom Lance is really looking for other kinds of items. To bolster up the illusions a little bit more, because of that the plus damage from the MKB is not going to translate to the illusions, so you'd rather have stats, you'd rather have a Skadi, a Butterfly, a Heart, these kind of things. Okay. Lane might be next point of contention. Tier 1 in mid as well as bottom, still up for the Dire side. So gold left on the table here that Empire would really like. Get their own item progression a little bit bolstered here, of course. Of course, the course look good here. Oh, General gets caught out here, and now follow-up hookshot. He actually has to zip out a long way. He's able to do that all the way across the river. And, oh, that almost was very bad if they had any sort of extra lockdown coming, like the line with the blink. Been a dead storm at the very least, though they force him back a little bit. But of course, with 10 Bloodstone charges, he'll be back in a fight ASAP. And actually goes in onto Kuro. That might have been a mistake here. There's the hacks, there's the follow-up stun, thing of death, and the death ward here. Mistakes were made. That's what he's saying to himself right now. Did not account for Jerax down on the side. That is a dangerous mistake to make. Oh wow, meanwhile bottom. I missed that here. They get a pickup on silence between Tumman and Fata. Down into a lot of burst damage, it looks like. Silence not at a point where he can survive that, of course. Does have the Fusel Blade, not really giving you too much survivability against magic burst. He has a lot of armor between the extra stats and of course the Ring of Aquila. But the other hero really relies on being able to doppelganger in and out of the fights. Yeah, Roshan next on the table, of course, that's another effect of the solo crash, just being able to bring that down relatively quickly and easily. Empire, other than they don't know, or they are not comfortable fighting this. Of course, without the Phantom Lancer, you don't really want to. Kind of rely, unless you're counting on a really big Winter Warman ultimate. That's always the kind of spell that can turn any sort of team fight at almost any point in the game. Get a Winter's Curse on, let's say, Dragon Knight with everyone bashing away at him. Then that might be enough to help you bring him down. Or even like Gyrocopter, he's much more squishy. Actually, not much more, but it still has good amount of armor here. Especially with that ice armor from the Ogre Frost Mage that he's picked himself up, and there's a decent health pool as well. And of course he has the Aegis now, so it's actually really hard for Empire to engage into this if they're grouping up like that. That's what we see. General up top, he's split pushing and waiting for a reaction. Gonna be an even trade as they lose the tier 2 mid and even a little bit of damage on the tier 3. top lane. Oh, they actually get the Tusky and the Cogs mind control. Does he have a haste rune? Yes, he does.
Do it with flair.
They catch him, and I also suspect the Stone Sword is there. Jarrek's smoke will be broken. Kind of minefield between the remnants here. Don't exactly want to blink into a deck of like 2 or 3 remnants up there. Yeah, if worse comes to worse, what's to stop Stone Spirit from just slipping out again? Still trying to scout him out, trying to find out if he's still there. Yeah, really nice as well, just sending him to courier on cleanup duty. A lot of teams just leave their trash on the rogue pit. It's a health violation and all that. Okay, hello Alliance. Blink stun into Finger of Death, and now General comes in to try and get the counter kill, and they will take out Jarrek's Silent here, on the call down, and did the Finger of Death stolen? Yes, it was. A little bit of a laugh tap back, going the way of man, but not enough to actually continue the chase, as they did not wish to continue the chase through that call down, of course. That's a little pick off here. Wasted ultimate on the Rubik, and he's holding onto that, so he'll have that 1 or 2 more times, I think. Actually, what's the duration? 240, so he can use that a couple of times. So he decides to steal another spell. It's great on Rubik, especially if he gets himself up to the Blink Dagger, which I assume he's saving up for now as well. Blink Telekinesis is instant initiation, as Blink Hacks is from the line. Of course not as long, but still, it's enough for you to get the Finger of Death off, get the Fate Bolt off, steal another spell, and then keep going, right? Potentially very dangerous spell to give over. The only problem is that it actually costs a lot of mana, and Lion of course can account for that with the mana drain. But Rubik, not so much. Like half his mana pool if you want, so gotta keep that in mind too. Orca now done for a Stone Spit. Back up to 7 charges here. He died twice in this game. I think once when he had the Bloodstone.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We'll have to be looking for more pickups here to fuel that item as well. One will really want to go on the Gyrocopter though, because from the rest of the team, you scout out that something's happening down here in the bottom. Teleport out Tuffslow, he doesn't have a teleport. Only shielded by the fact that 5Jungz, they will probably assume that he does and teleport it out if they actually spotted him out with the rocket in the first place. Right. Yeah, let's actually take a look at GPM. See. I remember the hotkey for that, but yeah, gold per minute, 510 on both Silent as well as Fata.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Gyrocopter and about 500 as well. Yeah, his item progression on track. He has the Sunshine Yasha, so that's an indication of them being able to, of them wanting to finish the game earlier rather than later. I mean, playing up against a Phantom Lancer, especially if you have heroes like Dragon Knight on your team. Always the kind of game plan that you want to go. Stone Spit, he has his items, but I feel like he hasn't had as much of an impact as he would have loved to. Just because the counter initiation of 5Jungz was just there a little bit too often. Back of Fata and back of Jarrex here. Lion was another thing. Now yeah, you see it in the movement here from 5Jungz. They're just walking across the map on the Radiant side, looking for targets, looking for someone to pick off to turn it into a push. So far, Empire pretty good at dodging them. Look at the vision that allows them to do. Oh god, actually no. Glimmer Cable actually keep him safe. I was expecting a fight to break out. But yeah, look at the vision here. This one of course will be countered now. It's also was a relatively fresh ward, so that kind of sucks. But also this Observer ward down here in the bottom. Valuable to just spot out these kind of aggressive rotations. Problem is for Empire with that kind of playstyle, they kind of have to be held together like this and just move as 5 and just farm up the jungle as 5. Can't get you anywhere, and instead the smoke up is 5. They get up on Mutsumama, and Jarrex comes in as well, trying to help, but he's not really helping anyone right now except Team Empire. And now it's their turn to turn a pick off into a push. That's gonna be Detsy 1 finally. Rest of 5Jungz, they're
Dire's structures are
getting themselves
fortified.
into position to stop the push
Dire's middle
when
tower
it goes
is under
further,
attack.
but they can't really fight here. Not with 2 heroes down.
Dire's middle tower
Or with 2 of
has
their big
fallen.
damage dealers down as well. I mean, damage dealers and controllers.
Dire's
The
middle
Lion,
tower
of course,
is
Blink's
under
done.
attack.
Blink AoE stun potentially. Oh, Blink. There's the lift onto Theta. He's kind of isolated here. And Silent rocking away at his mana, punched up into the air. He's still quite tanky, but not tanky enough up against 5
Dire's
heroes and
structures are fortified.
equally as many illusions. So they're going
Dire's
to get a
middle
tier 2
tower
off
is
of
under
that.
attack.
Yeah, there's no buyback on the Dragon Knight. They can
Dire's
actually go
middle
high
tower
ground right now.
has fallen.
Silent. He has a heart actually. He's been farming extremely well. I looked at him for a couple of minutes and what he put his effort into, and that'll allow them to siege very
Dire's
effectively
middle
here,
tower
especially
is under
since
attack.
they by now should figure out that there's probably no buyback to Dragon Knight. They're gonna go in, they're gonna get more. Kuro punched up into the air as well. General here just zipping in to scare them off essentially. With Timberman back and Jesus'
Dire's
base
middle
being
tower
put in
has
shambles.
fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under
A
attack.
whole lot that you can do because the jump potential for Team Empire is much
Dire's
superior
middle
here.
barracks has fallen.
If you have the man disadvantage.
Dire's
Once again,
middle
Blink,
barracks are
lift,
under
follow up from the snowball, from the general zipping in, and Gordon's not going to do anything. They get pick off after pick off. Relatively deep behind the
Dire's
lines
middle
here.
barracks has fallen.
Netted them like 4-5 kills in total. Well as 2 towers, 3 towers and a set of racks. It started at the tier 1 if you remember, and then one single push. And that's the kind of Empire that we all know and love. I mean, just being able to fight and then take a fight so
Dire's
convincingly
bottom tower is under a-
that you
Dire's
take extra
bottom
objectives
tower
off of
has
that.
fallen.
Another last hit on the tower was silent, another 350 gold or something. He must have just finished up his heart. He's now sitting at 4.5k, but now the pickup down here at the bottom. They find Lion. I'm not quite sure what Cherries was doing there, but well, 5Jungz, very rough spot right now. Look at the gold graph, man. That, once again, just like in the laning phase,
Dire's bottom
picture
tower is under
continues,
attack.
but the stakes are much higher. 5Jungz with a slight advantage here, about 4,000 gold going the way, and then just one team fight, and like 3-4
Dire's
towers
bottom
and
tower
5
is
heroes,
under
5-6
attack.
heroes being picked off. 12,000 gold change, 14,000 more or less. Now up to 10,000 advantage for Team Empire. What kind of story for the experience, sitting at about 7,500 advantage now. Yeah, exactly. Just finished the hard and now looking for a butterfly, and he's almost gonna get that. I mean, that timing on this Phantom Lancer. He's seeing at 20k gold 35 minutes in. I mean, that's something that we would expect at 45 minutes. 45 minutes here, but there's been no pressure, or very little pressure onto Silent. I mean, he's been picked up 3 times, but then he's been left alone. Right? And 5Jungz, they've been able to take map control, but since Empire was able to dodge their gank attempts to convert that map control into pickoffs, into high ground pushes, Empire being able to dodge that, and they found the space. Not just
Dire's
for their
top
PL, but
tower
also
is
for the
under
Soul Spirit to
attack.
keep farming to
Dire's
their crucial
structures
items
are
up, and then all it
fortified.
takes is one fight. If you're pretty much even, all it takes is one fight. Man advantage to push you over the edge and take
Dire's
objectives,
top
and
tower has
they're not
fallen.
stopping here. You're ahead, get further ahead, and they get all the items that they want now, even on support sphere. Rubik with the 4-star finished up the apathy, and the blink dagger of his own. That's where he had 13 bloodstone charges, so he was at 7 before all that stuff happened, and now looking for real Lincoln Sphere here. Hate that actually, just up against the finger or any sort of single target able, like the Dragon Tail even, or the Hex. Thing of the sword. Just being able to block that with Lincolns would be very, very useful in Roshan, next target here for Empire. Jungs, they know this is happening here, they had to creep in there. Of course, they also have the rocket players to keep tabs, but can they actually fight this? I think they can, but it would be very, very chancy, and really comes down to positioning here. If they get a good hog shot in here, maybe slay the fight like that. The apathy Very wise decision to stay out. NATO will actually spot them here. Just have to make sure not to bunch up forward once good. Oh, okay, there it is. General in here, locked down with these, with the hacks. Hawks come down, Fata in the midst of a fight. And alone and some backside isolated silent here, looking for targets. Actually, can't really find the one that he wants here. Everyone's still alive though, I'm not sure how. But Fata finally finding the Stormsword here in the back, so he's down for the count. He can't fight back in 20 seconds. The Tomb Man on top, kind of low on mana and health though. Same for everyone on side of 5Jungz, so that's all they have, all the juice that they have left. And Empire, they're still up and running. Mega kill for Silent is couldn't really lock onto a target for the longest part of this fight, but he's able to stay alive because of that heart, because of that butterfly. 5Jungz, they committed so much on the Stormsword, and you can't really fault them, right? It's can't really fault them because Stormsword is really hard to deal with. Because you need that burst, or else he's just gonna do so much AoE damage in that kind of constricted space. Kinda have to bring him down quickly, but then they expended all of their arsenal on him, and there was nothing left for Silent because it took them so long as well. In general, started here, he was hexed up, and then he zipped over here. Igon and Fata finally tracked him down, and Silent doing all that. Able to work.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Same for the Apathy, of course. Great Wall's Curse. Midst of that as well. It's kind of interrupted Jung's their attempt to take the fight, and yeah, the result of that is
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
free Aegis for Stormsword, free set of racks, and getting closer and closer to game.
Dire's bottom barracks
5Jungz, they need nothing short of a miracle right now if they want to turn this around. And general, congrats if he has the Jarks and neck. Nice Winter's Curse on 3. Silent comes in here, locking onto who's that? That's the Fata. Bringing that out of mana, out of life points here as Colin comes out with Superman, trying to do what he can. Meanwhile, back control, dropping down the cogs here, just desperately trying to find something. Buyback from Fata here, that might turn it around. So Silent, he doesn't give a damn. Just locks down Kuroki, therefore not doing nearly as much as they need to, and Aisha's even blocking him in a little bit here. The Yoda Warrior with the punch up into the air, they get another kill. Fata dragged out of his own fountain here now, stunned up, locked down. Glimmercake is not gonna save you there, they dive the fountain, they get Kuro, and that's GG here. Triple kill for both Silent and General, and yeah, Empire showing us that they've not let up after TI, they're still as strong. Just as strong as we know them, essentially. Very good game from them. And 5Jungz, not looking too bad, to be honest. I mean, they had good laning stage, they had a decent mid game, but they just weren't able to